or have to apply deadly force to make. When two people are on mutual ground, and make no mistake about
They
it,
sound angry.
Trayvon had every bit as much the right to be on the premises that they were on as did George Zimmerman. Then that goes to all the facts and circumstances behind the case.
He does.
And that's why this case was unique in that sense, and that's why it was difficult.
Kathy Bellich with Channel 9 in
Hey,
Orlando. Once you determined that you could not, well, once you found out that you could not determine who started that confrontation, why did you decide to go forward? Because isn't that the key point of a case like this?
That was the huge
I'll
part of
let
the
Bernie answer that.
I think we have to go back to the beginning. Who was following who?
I'm sorry, Bernie.
Who was following who? I mean, isn't that what this case boils down to? That was our theory. Now, we respect the jury's verdict, but really what it boiled down to is a kid minding his own business, being followed by a stranger.
Blindsiding.
The following didn't matter. This was the biggest issue, and this motherfucker, for the prosecution, is still trying to push this. The following had nothing to do with what happened that evening. Nothing. The bottom line was, regardless of if Zimmerman was following Trayvon, George is following Trayvon. He's following for what purpose? To kill him? Apparently not. I think he's following to watch him so that when the cops that he called get there, instead of every other time that he talked about these assholes all get away, he could sit there and go, "Officer, there he is. I've been watching the whole time. There he is." That's what happened. Not that he ran out trying to kill somebody. Stop it. If Trayvon never punched him in the face, he'd be alive today. You'd never hear about this.
Oh, that Zimmerman did profile Trayvon Martin. But the
profiling too. Nothing. Doesn't mean anything. Profiling, is that a crime? I actually had to read people on Twitter saying, he got out of his truck. Think about that for a second.
What a crime.
Exactly. If you think about that for a second, getting out of his truck all of a sudden became this giant problem. Is that all you got?
It's a huge issue.
Is that all you got? He got out of his truck. You're allowed to get out of your truck.
Out of my truck to piss 20 times.
Right. You could get out of your truck anytime you want, no matter who's around, no matter what the non-emergency police call guy says to you, which, by the way, he never said don't get out of your truck, which is another misconception. You can get out of the truck anytime you want. Makes no sense.
But I am disappointed.
I've
been trying a lot of cases.
Yeah.
I've tried 300 cases, about 80-something murder cases. This is
went a
only
little
my
bad
second
for you.
murder case that I've lost. Am I disappointed? Yes, because I thought he was guilty. But what matters is what the jury said.
Of what?
I don't know if that answered your question. Yes, because I thought he was guilty. But what matters is what the jury said, and I accept it.
Screw the lawyers.
Of course.
Bring on the riots.
Mr. Del Rianda, could I get
thought
your
he was not
impression
guilty,
of the
would you have tried to
2005
prosecute
expansion
him?
of
Yeah.
the Florida's self-defense statutes? Does this make your job harder?
You know, self-defense has existed for a long time.
No shit.
And we've dealt with it in Jackson for a long time. We've tried a lot of self-defense cases. I personally have tried, 10, 15 self-defense cases. They're tough
You
cases.
tried
but
this
we
one
accept
too.
them. So
Didn't quite
the
pan
law
out, did
really
it?
hasn't changed that much. Stand your ground was a big thing, but really the law hasn't changed. And we believe the right to bear arms and the right to self-defense. We felt in this case
Apparently
that it was
not.
not appropriate.
Not appropriate. He beat his face in.
Hi, I'm Michelle Sunder with USA Today. John Guy talked about the fact that this was going to be a verdict that sent a message, and that it was going to be about what happens when a guy follows a young child and then shoots him. Could you tell me what you think about what this verdict means to the nation?
Stop
and what
with
it
your
says?
bullshit
I don't
reporting.
believe I ever said it was going to send a message. I mean, criminal cases are about defendants and victims. It's most instances like this, a one-on-one confrontation. So it was a determination about what happened between those two individuals. I certainly didn't mean to characterize this as sending a message outside the courtroom.
Oh boy.
The forensics don't lie.
No.
Prosecutor Corey, this question is about
it really
Vinnie
is all
Pride
about
Boss.
what
Since
position we're in.
testifying in that pretrial hearing about discovery evidence, we understand that he was terminated. Can you talk to us about why he was terminated?
I believe that we have released a letter that details why he was terminated. And again, we want to keep the focus on what we promised 15 months ago, which was to get
No, the
all of the
focus
facts
is
of
that
this
you're
case
fucking
in front of the jury,
shysters.
or
And you
in front of a
terminated a
judge that was gonna
whistleblower
stand your ground
because he said
hearing.
that you
And I
didn't give
believe that's
over
what we've
information that
done.
you needed
I believe
to
the
the
focus needs to be on
defendant
how the system
and
works, and
his
how now
attorneys.
everyone in this country, because of you all,
Lying
because of you all
sack of
covering this
shit.
case,
Lying
can
sack of
see that they
shit.
know the facts that were allowed.
Hi, compound. Who's this?
Hi, yeah, I'm calling in. Is this Anthony?
Yes, it is, sir.
Hey, I just wanted to say that the media is still going on and on like it's a, quote, shocking conclusion to the trial.
Right.
They're going to cause so much trouble.
They are culpable in any violence or disorder that comes from this verdict because they denied facts. They twisted the facts to make it seem like here's this innocent young boy shot for no reason by the big bad George Zimmerman. And if you only know that, you're going to wonder why he was found not guilty. If you know the fact, you know why he was found not guilty. If you don't, and you listen to the news, you will assume that there was a great injustice done, and you will riot, you will be angry, you will break things, and be very mad. And the press, the mainstream media, is culpable in any violence that happens due to that. Hi, compound. Who's this?
Hey, this is John from Thousand Oaks, California.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, oh man, I am prepping for a Rodney King 2.0, man. This is, I can't get over the fact that he was found not guilty. I mean, I knew he wasn't, but it's insane to think that they weren't able to charge him with some small crime, like some political crime, to be able to throw him in jail. Because
I understand that. I was a lot of people. I said I had a 99% acquittal. I said 99%. The 1% was not guilty of any other crime. The 1% was a hung jury. I assumed that it was absolutely going to be not guilty because the facts of this case and the jury that sat there and watched even more than I did, and I think I saw probably 90% of this case. If I missed 10%, it was in bits and pieces. I knew this guy did not commit a crime in the state of Florida.
I completely agree.
But a lot of people,
a lot of people didn't. Little, what if?
Well, that's the what if of the jury. But I knew the jury was chosen and sequestered before a lot of this bullshit got out into the media and the threats of rioting and we have to do something before people do things. You know what I mean? So the jury never saw the shit we were seeing on a daily basis and how revved up people were getting and how Nancy Grace, that cunt, was fucking riling people up.
Oh, man. Well, hey, no. Good, keep up the good fight, man. Really appreciate it. Big fan.
Thank you, my friend.
I think the cunt threw him.
I think so, right? He freaked out. I don't know what the mindset is there in Thousand Oaks, California. Apparently, they're a bunch of prudes. What's the matter, Layla? Layla hides.
What's up, baby?
She hides from the television. Hi, compound. Who's this?
This is Greg in Tucson, Arizona.
Greg, what's up, man?
Yeah, I was just saying, the one thing that irritated me the most was when, after the verdict was read, is when Sharpton had to make a comment saying, we. It's always about we with him when it involves any kind of situation that he's not happy with. Like he was saying, we are going to do a civil suit, or we. He had nothing to do with any of this.
I hear you. I hate to hang up on you. I want to hear the...
To the prosecution, to the public,
attorneys.
in a completely professional and respectful way. And we have done it in such an organized and seamless manner that their presence went
This guy's a
almost completely
superhero right now.
unnoticed.
O'Mara?
What I have
Superhero.
noticed is your department's calm certainty that they know what to do, how to do it, and how to protect all of those involved, including the process, while accomplishing their tasks. Personally, this made my job much easier because I can focus my team's efforts on the proper presentation of our case without concerns for outside influences or logistical concerns. We come to the courthouse every day
not so
knowing
much a
that you have that
superhero as a
covered.
competent
I do not know
attorney.
what
Very
awards or
competent.
commendations are
Competent
available
attorney.
to acknowledge the pure perfection with which you and your department have handled
brought
the
the
entire
facts
event.
forward.
But I am certain that you
Yeah.
have the
He
vote
made
of
it
every member of my
transparent. He
team,
made
the
the entire thing
prosecution team,
transparent.
Yep.
the judicial
There was
staff,
no
the media, and
trickery.
every
There was no
citizen
mirrors,
who's
no
interacted
smoke,
with the
no mirrors.
department in this
Exactly.
case.
It was exactly what happened.
Thanks again. Anyway, I just
And
thought
it
that
did
was
not warrant
appropriate because both Sheriff
murder or a
Exlinger
manslaughter
and Sanford
conviction.
PD
Yep.
has done an amazing job in making this process as peaceful and successful. Having said that, we appreciate the jury's time and effort. We really do. They spent an enormous amount of time during the trial listening. They were very intent. I mentioned at one point that some jurors, you have to wake them up by shouting or dropping a file. Not this juror.
No, they were all
listened, they took
very
notes, they were
compelled
as engaged as
to
everybody else
watch,
in the
very
process.
engaged.
And it made for the type of verdict that we had to have, which was a verdict that listened to all available facts, not all of the facts, but all the available facts, the evidence, the law, and the
If they listened to
time
all the facts, it
consideration
would have
that the
ended a
jury
lot
gave to
sooner,
it
I think.
before making that final decision. Obviously, we
All
are
available facts.
ecstatic with the results. George Zimmerman was never guilty of anything except protecting himself in self-defense. I'm glad that the jury saw it that way, and I hope that everyone who thinks, particularly those who doubted George's reasons and
Yes.
doubted his background, now understand that the jury knew everything that they knew was enough for them to find him not guilty. You know even more than the jury know about both parties' past.
Ooh,
And
look
we
at
know
that.
George was the type of individual, from what you know, his involvement in his community. This was not a unique event for George to try and be involved with his community and to be involved with the police when it was necessary. I'm just glad that the jury saw it that way.
Yep.
Very, very happy with the results.
We all are. We all are.
Sometimes I can be a little more blunt. I think the prosecution of George
Knock,
Zimmerman
knock.
was disgraceful.
Who's there?
I am
Not Trayvon Martin.
gratified by the jury's verdict,
Lighten up.
as happy as I am for George Zimmerman. I'm thrilled that this jury kept this tragedy from becoming a travesty. For that, we are eternally grateful. But it makes me sad, too.
Does it?
That
Why?
it took this
This
long,
guy's an artist.
under these circumstances, to finally get justice.
He is.
He's an artist.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you. Hi there, Amanda Evans, News 13. I have a question for you, Mr. West. This case became a little personal for you. There were some threats made to your family, some jabs at opening statements. We all watched as things kind of got heated between you and Judge Nelson. Can you talk about what this was like for you, this trial, these last few weeks, just personally?
Sure, stop me if you've heard this one before.
Knock, knock. Don't do it.
No, I'm not going to talk about that.
Don't do it.
This trial's about George Zimmerman, not about pictures of ice cream cones. Or,
Oh, boy, don't
No, I
make
still think the joke was funny. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, shut up. Don't
I'm
do
sorry I
this.
didn't
You're gonna
tell
get
it better,
fired.
but there was an
Stop. Don't make it
important
about
reason
you.
for it. There needed to be a disconnect, frankly.
O'Mara,
a disconnect
hit him. Get him
from
out of here.
an act that was hard to follow. But I knew, Mr.
Yeah.
O'Mara knew, and you all soon found out that it was indeed just an act. I could follow that act with that kind of passion and glaring and staring and all of that. We needed facts. Unlike what Ms. Corey said, they brought the facts. They didn't. Anybody that watched this trial knew the defense put on the case. We proved George Zimmerman was not guilty. So, no, I won't talk about that. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Montgomery, Tampa Bay Times. Can you give us any insight
The Ben
into
Montgomery?
Mr. Zimmerman's state of mind upon hearing the verdict?
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how you can feel when you're in trauma and stress for 16 months. And,
Hi, live from the compound. Who's this?
John from Australia.
Australia.
Yeah, we're following it down here.
Yeah, I like that
just
you're
wanna say
cooling
two
up
things
here.
here.
I feel pretty good that you're cooling us
Yeah,
up.
mate. This is an excellent result.
I
not for
hear
America,
it.
but
No,
for the world.
that's very cool. I like that Australia's calling. How do you feel about this? What are you thinking?
I think it's the best result. And I just want to say, you can't best the West, and you can't sayonara the Amara. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day.
Yeah, he really did a good. What did he say? What did he say?
It's like,
Something about
does this sort
the
of
end
stuff
of the
happen on
day.
American TV all the time, or is this?
Yeah, this is American TV. This is pretty much what American TV gives you. I know it's pretty bad, but this is all we have really after the nuclear war.
Down under, but I've been staying up every day until
2 days ago, I saw a rig that'll hold that tanker. You want to get out of here? Talk to me. That's all I know of Australia is the Road Warrior. Fucking great. Walker! That's all I really.
Let the man speak.
And the Aborigines. I know about the Aborigines.
Let's see what he has to say.
Let's not go there.
Thank you, Australia. He was down under. What do I know? I hang up on Australia. It's terrible. Hi, live for the compound. Who's this?
This is Brian from Virginia.
Virginia. That's a lot easier. How you doing?
Hi, doing good, bud.
How you feel about the verdict?
Definitely agree with Anthony on that one.
Well, I'm Anthony. I don't have a screener. I'm in my house.
So you agree with him?
Yes. How you doing, man? So you agree? Have you agreed the whole time? Did you watch the trial? Did you just have some personal reason?
No, I actually watched it from the get-go. Kind of been following it daily, and I just knew that just something just wasn't sticking right the whole time through the with the
oh boy, he's getting nervous, Joe. He's getting a little nervous. It's okay. It's okay. If you watch this trial, and if you watched other trials or kept any tabs on self-defense trials or read anything other self-defense trials, anybody would have realized this was so clear-cut. It wasn't even close. I said that before. This wasn't even close. There have been self-defense cases that have been so marginal where it's like, could go this way, could go that way, and the guy won on self-defense. It wasn't even close. This was amazingly clean cut, but so many people didn't see it.
Definitely.
Why didn't they
totally
see it?
agree with
Why
that,
didn't
but
they
just
see it?
The whole part of with them talking about how Trayvon.
Oh boy, he was flattering me.
They
Thank you, sir.
You know
for
why
the call.
they did not see it?
Why?
Because they brought emotion into this.
Emotion
Right.
and race were two huge issues in this case. You got, they kept saying, a 17-year-old child, unarmed. He had his iced tea and his Skittles, and all he was trying to do was get home. And Zimmerman came, and they left out the part where he was on top of Mr. Zimmerman, punching his face in. See, that's the important part of the self-defense case, that he was beating Mr. Zimmerman's face.
And the jury was not permitted to see the shot of him doing this.
Yeah.
With weed being blown out his mouth. I mean, not that I have anything against smoking weed, but hey, look.
Right.
He's not a kid.
He's not a kid.
Anymore.
He's not an angel. He was there on his text, on his phone, in pictures, talking about selling guns.
And beating the shit out of people.
It really did. Yeah, fighting. The jury never saw that, and still, it was self-defense. So
that's what he was saying. There was a lot of things. That's what the defense attorney was saying. There were a lot of things that the jury was not permitted to see.
Yeah.
And still.
Need a vacation, but how are you going to address the civil aspect of this now?
I'm sure there'll be
as
a
far
civil
as the stand your ground and keeping George Zimmerman from being liable.
Sure, as to the first, yes, there's a sanctions hearings to be set. There is not only that, but of course, the state is then responsible for a lot of the costs that we've incurred to acquit George Zimmerman. So we're going to have a hearing on that as well.
Oh, the state has to pay?
We're not quite done yet.
That's
and on the
nice.
civil aspect, if someone believes that it's appropriate to sue George Zimmerman, then we will seek and we will get immunity in a civil hearing. And we'll see just how many civil lawsuits are spawned from this fiasco.
Fiasco. I got to go back.
You want to go back to like President? Take a look at the OJ case.
OJ case.
Acquittal.
But OJ got a wrongful death suit put upon him. He was acquitted of murder, but the burden of proof for a civil case is nowhere near what it is for criminal. So they acquitted him on that, but on a civil case, he has to pay.
So
now
George
with this, it's so clear cut as a self-defense case. If you try to sue him, it's so easy to look at his case. He didn't just murder someone and get off the hook like OJ did.
Right.
He was defending himself. So I think it'll be a lot harder for someone to win a civil case against Zimmerman. The thing is, he's fucked financially forever. I mean, he's got to pay the costs.
Huge
but
fees. Huge fees.
You know what? At least he's a free man. Live for the compound. Who's this?
Hey, it's Rich from Montreal.
How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Right on. I just had a question. I'm sorry if you've already addressed this. Is there any chance now of getting George on the O&A show?
You know what? I was chatting with Robert on Twitter, and
George's brother.
Yeah, George's brother. I would love to have George come on the show. If I'm sure he's going to be very busy in the near future, and I don't think we're the first choice. But if there's ever a chance to get him on, in a second.
Yeah, that would be awesome to hear. Hear it right from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
Exactly. I hear you, my friend. Thanks, man. Vinny, just hear the comment on Fox. It's gonna stay. Yeah. He's gonna sue. Yeah, I saw that, Vinny. He's gonna sue the state for the costs incurred by the defense.
I would say between book sales in the
Oh, yeah,
future, movies. There's going to be a
he's
movie.
gonna do very
Gonna be
well.
a movie. I would
Who's
say,
gonna play Zimmerman? Who's gonna? You got to get
Chaz Bono.
Chaz Bono is Fat Zimmerman. Who's gonna play Skinny Zimmerman? I don't know. Maybe La Bamba guy.
Yeah, La
Bamba guy. Who's this?
Hey, this is Bobby from Texas.
Hey, the great state of Texas. How you doing, man?
Bobby?
I'm doing fantastic. Let me tell you something about this verdict. It restores some kind of faith in humanity.
Justice system. Yeah.
Yes. You know, it was very important to me as a Second Amendment guy to have this case go this way, because to be able to defend yourself with a weapon is very important. Very important. But there's another thing. There seems to be this battle going on in this country between politics, political correctness, interest groups, and races and cultures battling each other, and everyone fearing this, not caring for the poor, downtrodden. This proved that there are still things in this country that can transcend that, and I was very happy to see that.
Yes, and in the great state of Texas, we do have a certain amount of freedoms that other states don't get to enjoy.
Yeah.
But we've seen cases where, a neighbor's getting robbed. A man walks out. He shoots somebody he shoots the burglar dead. No trial. No charges.
Police go. I hear you.
That does seem to differ from state to state.
All right, man.
Yeah. All right, thanks, man.
When you do something like that, something like that up around here. That's why.
You're done.
That's why.
Done.
A legal gun owner.
Yeah.
The bottom line with legal gun owners is they do not want to use the gun, because you know why? Because you see what someone goes through.
And when you're educated with a gun and you know what the ins and outs of the laws are, because you do. When you own a gun, you know the laws. You learn
better
them.
know them.
Then you know what the consequences are, even if you have to use it to save your own life, which Zimmerman had to do.
If you use a
and
gun
you
to
saw the
save your
consequences.
own life, the rest of your life is fucked.
It's fucked.
That's
It's
basically
fucked.
the bottom line.
So you never want to use it. Hence I read so many tweets from people that were like, well, if he had a gun, why didn't he just use it right away? Why did he wait to get punched? Because a responsible gun owner doesn't want to use it. It's the ultimate last resort. But people thought, he had a gun. Why was he screaming for help? He had a gun. Because he doesn't want to use it. No one would want to use it. They think gun owners walk around waiting to use their gun. And only a non-gun owner and an anti-gun person would think in that way. It's not the way it is. The compound, who's this? Where you from?
Hello?
Hello?
Is this Anthony?
It's Anthony. Who's this? Where you from? Turn your shit down.
Oh, there we go. I turned it down. This is Jeff from Arkansas.
All right.
All right.
Little
one of the things that I've noticed from the very not necessarily the very beginning, but throughout the whole trial, was the prosecution constantly using the words common sense.
Yeah.
Common sense this and common sense that.
Yeah.
Yet their whole argument was based off of their own delusional bullshit.
Well, their whole case is the prosecution's case is supposed to be based on fact. They have the facts. They said here's why and how and when this person was killed by this person. The defense is supposed to present doubt. Go, well, the prosecution said this, but couldn't this have happened? And couldn't this have happened? And I know that they said that a guy did this, but couldn't have this happened? But it was the opposite.
Didn't even have to do that.
The defense was saying, here's what happened. We have absolute proof that this is the way this happened. And the prosecution was put in the position where they're going, well, they said, but couldn't it? The doubt is supposed to be raised by the defense, not the prosecution. So right from the start, you knew, done. Oh.
Yeah. Isn't it also funny that it's the murder case rather than the self-defense case. That's the way it was constantly portrayed.
Yep.
It's murder case, not self-defense.
Yeah, they tried it as a murder case.
I mean, the murder end of it, we knew from the beginning wasn't going. That wasn't going to happen. The manslaughter part of it,
that got
because
iffy.
of political correctness and people. The climate, the political climate of the country. At this point, is such that a lot of the jurors were probably like, we may have to convict him on something.
That's what I was saying.
I applaud the jurors.
Amazing what the jurors did. Also, they came back at some point, the jury, and a lot of people got nervous and said they want more information on manslaughter, which led everybody to believe that murder 2 was off the table, which apparently it was, and that they were going to try gun for manslaughter.
They were looking for something.
What that did, that actually made me feel better about an acquittal, because they went through murder 2. The jurors sat there. They pawed through the murder 2 charge and went, this doesn't even apply to what happened. Not even a self-defense case. If this happened this way, regardless of self-defense, this isn't murder 2. So take it off the table. Now, let's go to manslaughter. You know what? We need a little more info on this. Let's go to the judge. We'll ask for more info. Does this fit the criteria for the situation that happened between Trayvon and Zimmerman? Then they work that out. Is it manslaughter? If they did deem it worthy of manslaughter, then they have to go, well, was he now justified? Was it self-defense? So when they asked for manslaughter, I knew they hadn't even touched on self-defense yet. They just wanted to know if manslaughter was the applicable charge. Right.
Yeah.
And then apparently, if I'm guessing right, they might not even have gotten self-defense. They might have looked at the manslaughter charge and said, this doesn't even apply. And that was that.
What were they saying? They were sitting there saying, "Oh, it's predetermined. It was predetermined murder."
Right.
He followed this guy simply to shoot him.
Yes. That's why it wasn't voluntary manslaughter, which was the manslaughter charge, and he got off the. I'd like to hear from the jurors and see if they did judge on self-defense or they just judged there wasn't enough evidence for murder 2 or manslaughter without even having to bring self-defense into it.
And then when you got a 17-year-old pounding your head in, are you going to sit there and let him beat your brains out? Or I mean, like
that,
when
dude.
I'm not.
That wasn't even an issue. That was an issue. Getting out of the truck, static, no issue. Following, stalking, pursuing, no issue. Who talked to first? Not an issue. All of that shit. The numbers on the house. Was he walking to the street to see this sign? When he was told by 911 operator to stop pursuing, did he stop pursuing? All of that was nothing. Zero as far as this case went. This case was made up of a moment of 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes, of them on the ground, battling, and a gun coming out and him shooting Trayvon. That was the case.
How could you move 40 feet? How could you move 40 feet in a minute in a fight?
Here it is. Here's that part of the case. Didn't matter.
Exactly.
The whole case was based on Did Trayvon hit George Zimmerman? The evidence pointed, yes, he's the guy that hit him first. Did George Zimmerman realistically, did he think his life was in danger or a great bodily harm was apparent for him? Yes, obviously. Look at him. That's the case. Everything else that I read from people were like, well, you got to put him in jail. He got out of his truck. What? It's ridiculous. All right, man, thanks. I just wanted to get on, do a quick show while this happened, get a little info out there. Thank you, Joe, joining me, helping out. But that's it. George Zimmerman, completely vindicated. Not guilty on all charges. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully, people will stay calm, and we won't see a repeat of the Rodney King thing. I do at some point. Here's my prediction now. I predicted this. I predict George Zimmerman and Trayvon's mother and father standing with police officers behind them saying something to the effect of, can't we all just get along, to try to calm shit down, because some people are going to be very angry.
You know what? If that happens, fucking more power.
So be it.
I agree with it.
It just proves that people aren't...
but you know what? For every thug that might hear this broadcast, know this. You don't know who you're fucking with. You don't know who you're fucking with.
Isn't that the ultimate moral of this story?
I would say so.
You don't know who you're fucking with. White people, by the way, are constantly being assaulted by young black men. There's an actual game that you can read about in the news.
Knockout game.
Knockout game, where they'll just walk up and see if they knock out some poor son of a bitch with one punch. And it happens all the time and never make mainstream media. You got to dig for these stories. And you know what happened? Trayvon tried some shit with a guy that he thought was going to be an easy mark, and he got his ass fucking handed to him.
I mean, honestly, George Zimmerman
was getting his ass kicked.
I mean, with all due respect, he's a bit of a pussy. If you think about it.
Yeah, he should have been able to duke it out.
Yeah.
I mean, Trayvon didn't have one mark on him. George didn't have one fucking punch in.
It was. I mean, for everything that the forensics said, he was on top of him.
Right.
He was on top of him, pounding his head,
ground and pound.
But yeah, let it be known: don't fuck with
you know
anyone.
What? Not every time.
Anyone.
It ain't going to be every time where you hit someone and they don't have a fucking gun with them. So, take your chances, I guess. What are you going to do? Live from the compound. Thank you so much. Let me put my little thing on the stream, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Have a good.